let's see how it works. Yo, dude just piling in.
Yo.
Sorry about earlier, guys.
Yeah, we tried. We did our best.
I think we went live like 3 different times and it just didn't work.
We did our best.
Yeah, Moore killed my line too. I didn't cash.
Same.
And I got to watch him blow up. It was fun.
That was extra exciting for you.
And of course,
goodness, the Giants are a freaking mess.
Oh, absolutely, man. And the person I went with is an A's fan, so I got to hear shit all night.
Really?
So
what was it like? Was it majority Giants fans there? Was there a trickle of A's?
You know what, dude? It was at the beginning of the game. There was absolutely no fans there, none. Right? Like nobody went to the games. There's a reason why the tickets were mad cheap. As it got to like the 6th inning, a little more people started to pile in. I don't know why so late, but by that time the Giants I think were down 6-1, or maybe it was the 7th, and so like by the end of the 7th inning, when that was kind of it for the Giants, it was all A's fans. Like the Giants fans that stood around got into fights, and the because I always sit in the bleachers.
All right.
I always sit in the bleachers because I think they're the best section.
Yeah, and might as well. I mean,
yeah,
I think it's the best section too. I feel like you see the ball coming at you. It kind of gives you a better perspective on the game that you're not used to. I agree. The Yankees actually do this thing now. They call it the pinstripe pass. It's $15, and you don't even get a seat.
Oh, Giants have had that.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, you pretty much get a pass to walk around, and I mean, you find a seat at Yankee Stadium, that's for sure.
That's Giants have had standing room tickets for forever. You actually don't get to come into the stadium. You sit on the outside. So if you know where McCovey Cove is on the right.
Yeah, no, this is just in the outfield.
Okay.
It's just in the outfield, yeah.
But yeah, man. I mean, overall, it was a fun night. I'm not complaining. It was cool. I don't really care if the Giants lose. I was saying that, So yeah. we were singing the "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" in the 7th inning, and rather than "If the Giants lose, it's a shame," it was "If the Giants lose, it's okay." Because we're playing for draft picks.
I like it. Yeah, I think the Giants need someone to take on some of those contracts, man.
Yeah,
what does it come down to?
I think it's time to gut the team, man. Get rid of Cueto.
Problem is, no one's going to want to take on the draft. You know what I mean? You're gonna have to pay some of their salary or some of these guys.
That's fine. We have enough money from the World Series victories. At least we should, if we're not cheap, that we can afford to take on some of the salaries, and we just need to gut the team and start over, man. We need to follow the White Sox. Them motherfuckers have like 80 of the top 100 prospects.
They're doing the right thing there.
I mean, if you're gonna rebuild, that's the way to do it. Go all the way. Don't half-ass it. Too many teams get stuck in this rebuilding phase where like they don't want a full rebuild. And
like Texas.
Yeah. So like you're not gonna contend, but you want to put out like a product that at least I guess sells tickets, which I get it from business standpoint, but you're just stuck in mediocrity for forever. It reminds me of the Hawks of the NBA. The Hawks never.
The Pirates are another team that won't ever sell completely. I mean, look at the Astros. They're a perfect example of it. They sold the farm. I mean, they didn't sell the farm. They sold all their players to build up the farm, and look where they're at now.
Yeah.
But they should have probably gotten rid of one of them pieces. I think they had the better prospects to get you Darvish, man. We talked about Derek Fisher leading into the break as a guy that we thought would be a good sell high candidate for them.
Trade piece, yep.
So
yeah, man.
I feel like I'm with Dallas Keuchel, man. I feel like they could have got Darvish from the Dodgers if they wanted him.
Speaking of that, man, we were trying to do a recap this morning when the show was fucking up, but all top. So let me show you the top 5 pitchers by value yesterday, just real quick. And this is gonna. I'm just gonna keep driving this point home. Value pitching, man. I think it's gonna be like
this is last night.
Yeah, this is last night, but I think this is gonna be the rest of the way for the year. Really, I don't know that.
Yeah, we were talking about it. We were talking about it like, yeah, Godley and Arrieta would have been on this list if we didn't go by value, but you were spending $3K more for 4 or 5 extra points.
Exactly.
Is that really worth it,
So, and like we thought, that was a pitcher's duel. It just, yeah, I think, you're going to separate yourself with bats right now. Value pitching is the hot thing right now in DFS, and this could change in a month, absolutely, or even a week. But right now, I think nailing your value pitching is what's going to get you anywhere.
Right.
Took a chance with Moore and Suter last night, and
we missed on our values. Yeah.
But as you see, all 5 of those pitchers were sub 8K, 7K.
Mm-hmm. Again, it's more of a tournament strategy because of that. Yeah, we missed on the value picks probably because it's going to be tough to nail them down. I mean, those are guys that could go out and bomb at any given day.
Yep.
So, you definitely are, if you are paying up, you're paying up to safety. Whereas, if you, like last night, you played more, you didn't cash. So, but you saved enough money to get the bats you wanted. But we talked about this game yesterday being one that you'd find some value in, and we certainly did yesterday with Stevenson and I forget who Pittsburgh ran out. Williams.
Yep.
Yeah, Williams didn't really have himself a day because Cincinnati, I think, is kind of heating back up, and I don't think people are going to realize it, but they are kind of coming back up here as a team. If you look at team stats in the last 7 days with OPS and WOBA, they've crept into top 6 in WOBA last 7, and I believe they are top 6 in OPS as well last 7. So I think a sneaky stack today against Cool can be the Reds, man.
Yeah, Reds are heating back up. If you look at the last 7, man, you know how much we value this. So, team last 7, the Reds 2 days ago were at the bottom of this list. They are now
right.
Number 7.
Right. Exactly. So, I think I like the stack here. Winker, is definitely a big part of that. I don't think that. I mean, he's definitely one of their top prospects that they're giving a shot here at the end of the season. I mean, 2 home runs in a game is obviously a flash in the pan, could be a fluke, but here he is at 3,100, a lefty in this park. I mean, or against Cool, second in the lineup. I think he adds some savings to make this stack work.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I like Scooter in the 5 hole. He's obviously expensive on DraftKings, but FanDuel 2,900 is a very nice price for a second baseman. And then Winker, like you said, he's value on both sides, but on FanDuel he's an absolute steal, 2,300. And Billy Hamilton's even cheap on FanDuel, 36, cheapish.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Hamilton's got to be in there if you're stacking. Eugenio Suarez has a hard contact rate of over 50% in the last week, over the last 6 games or so.
Also, worth mentioning, with a guy like Billy Hamilton, with his stolen base upside, Francisco Cervelli, one of the worst at throwing out base runners in the league.
Absolutely. Forgot to mention that.
I got you.
So, yeah, I like this stack here today. Even if you just want to go a 2-man of Hamilton and Winker, maybe that's super cheap.
Yeah. We got Detroit and Baltimore. So I was flopping back and forth here, man. I started last night on the ride home because I was already I'm trying to get ready for the slate and everything, and I'm like, all right, Detroit against Tillman, Baltimore against Boyd.
In this park, yeah, it's a game stack, man.
I think it is too. I started with Detroit bats, but then I found myself, I don't like enough Detroit bats versus Tillman. So I'm going to roll out Baltimore, who I like a little more. with this game stack. And Boyd is someone who's pitched well in his last couple starts. His K rate has gone up a little bit. And Baltimore versus lefties does have K upside. But then I looked at these splits here. Baltimore at home versus lefties, a 191 ISO and a 32% hard contact rate. They only hit ground balls 38% of the time. I don't project it. And with Boyd, even with his good starts, he has a 46% fly ball rate. I don't project this to be a good start for him.
No. But we said that about Hellickson last night, so
Yeah, true.
Who knows? Yeah, fly ball rate in this park is a thing. I think one guy that I'll be looking at today is Chris Davis, the lefty in this lineup, because he is kind of due for a home run, and he's got a 46% line drive rate over the last week. So, squaring the ball up. Boyd's not really a good pitcher, gives up fly balls. I think it makes sense for Chris Davis.
Only thing I worry about with Davis is Boyd hasn't given up a home run to a lefty all year.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize that. Let me see here. That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
That is a crazy stat.
So he thinks he's Gio Gonzalez now, but...
Apparently.
Yeah, I'm avoiding... I mean, he's the only lefty in their lineup, but I do like Manny Machado a ton. I like Scope. I loved Caleb Joseph for his price, but he's not in here, so I'm going to have to figure out where I'm going to go there. Trey Mancini's been swinging the bat well. I love 2-3-4 in this lineup, and then if you can afford Tim Beckham on DraftKings, I like it. Joey Rickard is a value play on both sides, but Tim Beckham, 2,500, swinging a really hot bat since he came over to Baltimore.
Yeah, we're a FanDuel play.
Yes, it's 2,500 on FanDuel.
That's crazy. I didn't realize these stats for lefties, man. That's 20% hard contact rate. Yeah, never mind.
Take Chris Davis off the list.
He is on my radar, though. You know, I really do think like he is on my radar for something soon. Scope, obviously. Hey, you know, him and Beckham, you know, if you can afford him, I love it. But it's just the prices on DK is tough to get to. Yeah. Upton is on fire right now. I think he's definitely among the elite one-off plays until he cools down.
He's been thriving since JD left.
Castellanos as well. I like the middle of the order here. So, yeah, game stack for me as well.
Chicago and Boston. All right, so Boston fucked me yesterday. I didn't realize that this game was going to be, 1, postponed, and 2, of course, I wasn't checking my lines because I was driving to SF. And come to find out, lines lock. I was like, all right, well, let's hope this game plays. It doesn't. I ended up with Devers and Nunez, both with zeros, significantly hurt. Whatever.
And the thing is, I looked at the radar too, and it was a small sell over Boston when the game started, and it just kind of built, and it just stood and stayed right there. It never moved out over the ocean or anything. It was just like, nope, game starting. We're just gonna rain in Boston for the next 4 hours. So that kind of sucked. Speaking of which, we should probably look to see if there's any rain concerns today.
It's a good idea because I have a Boston stack right now.
Chicago looks a little iffy, actually. The rain had.
This is in Boston.
Oh, it is. Okay. Yeah, no, Boston doesn't look bad at all. That game will definitely play.
At least I believe it's in Boston. Let me double check.
I think Chicago. I think Chicago. Actually, the rain is moving out of Chicago now. So if that game was still in delay, it should probably start playing soon. Perhaps some rain in Colorado.
Black game's already playing.
Right, that game's already playing. Perhaps some rain in Minnesota, but it looks pretty clear. Yeah, it doesn't look like anybody's in severe
danger.
Yeah, good word. That's what I'm looking for.
So the plays from Boston, because I mentioned them, I don't know if they're going to be chalky today. I'd imagine attacking Miguel Gonzalez is like the cool thing to do. Like all the cool kids are going to do it, but you know, I want to fit in today, so I'm going to do it. And I'm going to go back to him. I love Devers. I don't know that I get to him today because I like Machado. And if I'm choosing between Machado and Devers, I think I'm going to go with Machado. But that's
What's the price difference?
There is a price difference. Machado's, I believe, 4.4. Devers is 3.7. On FanDuel, Devers is only 3.1. Machado is 3.8. Sorry, Machado's 4.6. So it's definitely a price drop. I have zero issue with you going down to Devers if you're looking at stacking those two teams and you're choosing between those two guys for the price savings. But personally, I went with Machado. I love Benintendi in that 2-hole. I think he's way too cheap on both sites, especially DraftKings where he's 3,600. Eduardo Nunez you're paying for. And then Mitch Moreland, we talked about a guy that was way too cheap the other day. Well, FanDuel, remember, they don't work more than 2 days a week, so he's not priced up there. He skyrocketed on DraftKings, but the dude is hot right now. So
yeah, him, Nunez, Vasquez, and Devers are the guys that are swinging the bat well. So if you value recent performance, and you want to stack Boston against Miguel Gonzalez, those are the guys. So yeah, I'm with you.
Eduardo Nunez over the last 7 days, 1496 OPS. Devers 1647.
Yeah, I kind of like the. I don't know that I would include Nunez. I feel like that's a sell high for me at this point. But Devers, I could see it. Moreland is on the rise, so I definitely would like to play him. And then Vasquez again is another sell high at 49 on DraftKings. It's just kind of nuts to me.
He's way too high priced on DraftKings. On FanDuel, I can do it at 2,700. That's still technically a value play. On FanDuel, no way I can get to Vasquez for 49. I did that yesterday with Real Muto, and he got me a goose egg.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm with you. I like Moreland and Devers, and I think that's the two men that I would go with.
Okay. See, I have a 4-man right now. I'm going Benintendi, Nunez, and I actually have Bogarts in there for 3,600. He's way cheap on both sides. I know he's been cold, so it's kind of like a hoping he rebounds spot. Nothing would say to play him right now. But he also fits right in front of Moreland. So,
got you. I like it.
And then looking at Rick Porcello, I think he's in play today. I do know he's being talked up on some sites, so maybe he's chalk. And if that's the case, I fade him.
Yeah.
I liked him, but then Mike. He's 9,700 on DraftKings. Corey Kluber's 11K, and the Yankees lineup is weaker today, to say the least. So I found myself fading Rick Porcello, but I do think he's in a good matchup. And if he's chalk, if you're playing cash, I don't think it's a bad play, just not my favorite.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it's a matchup play, right? The White Sox are just awful right now, with the exception of Abreu, and that's it.
Yeah.
They are awful. I mean, obviously, Moncada is going to break out of this at some point, but those are really the only two guys that worry me. And the thing about Porcello, however, he gives up a ton of homers. Like, you're going to have to, I could see him giving up a couple of solo shots, man, and he's worse at home. He's giving up 25 home runs in the year. He's pretty much double-digit home runs in every game. But if you look at, like, his home runs, like, how many hits are home runs, it's kind of unreal. Like, he's had games where all 3 of his hits or all
home runs.
4 of his hits are home runs. And it's really been killing him. So, I mean, if he gets the strikeouts, like, obviously this is a plus K matchup for him. If he gets the strikeouts and he only gives up 3 hits, but they're home runs, I mean, I could see it still being an okay play, It's just like you said, 1,300 more to Kluber. I feel like unless I really don't want to screw up my lineup, I'd rather do that.
I agree. I think Kluber has much more upside, much more K upside. If we're looking here, so last 30 days, let's look at that. It's a reasonable sample size. Corey Kluber has a 41% strikeout rate with a 18.6% swinging strike rate and a 178 xFIP. Beautiful, right? Let's look at Rick Porcello. He holds only a 20% K rate with only an 8% swinging strike rate. And his ERA is only 2.79, but his xFIP is 4.14. I don't like that. And if we're looking here,
he's getting hit hard, man.
Yeah, in his last 7, it's actually worse. In last 14, it's bad. His last 14 xFIP is 4.53 with a strikeout rate of only 19%. Last 7, 19% as well. And even worse, his fastball velocity has dropped a little bit over the last 30 days. So if he's going to be chalk, I think it's bad chalk. And I think, if this is if he ends up, if you think he's going to be chalk, Abreu absolutely needs to be a one-off. I like Abreu and Moncada 2-man. And I actually even like Lurie in that as well. You can go 1 through 4, honestly. I have zero problem with 1 through 4 here.
Rick Porcello is second to Robbie Ray in hard contact percentage in the bad way. However, it's gotten much better. It's gone from 41% in the course of the season to 34.5% in the last 30 days, but it's still top 25. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'm going Porcello, so I agree with you, man. Brady Moncada is really the only guys I've looked at or wrote down here in front of me.
Yeah. Yankees and Cleveland. Sonny Gray is going to make his start today for the Yankees. And then, of course, as we just talked about, Corey Kluber, who, and I quote, has struggled of late, which is odd because his xFIP has actually been better over his last couple starts, but yet he's allowed more runs. Just shows you kind of, unlucky. But his strikeouts are still up 44%. Yankees lineup did mention no Aaron Judge today. And who else was out? Todd Frazier's out. So definitely a weaker lineup. I think there's strikeout potential here. Yankees have been playing better of late. And then Cleveland. Yeah, it's okay. They're not as bad as they were a week ago, but
yeah, it's been so up and down, man.
And then Sonny Gray, dude's been lights out in his last couple starts as well. Talking about those, let's read off here. So his last 30 days,
one of them,
25% strikeout rate, 13% swing and strike rate, so that backs it up right there. And a xFIP of 3, like that. Over his last 14 days, xFIP of only 1.44 with a 34% strikeout rate and a 16% swing and strike rate. I do like that.
Yeah, and just digging into those stats a little bit. Last 14 would include at Toronto and at Tampa or versus Tampa Bay. Last 30 would include Chicago White Sox and Cleveland. And in that start versus Cleveland in Oakland, he went 6 innings of scoreless 2-hit baseball, struck out 5. So 5 strikeouts isn't really what you want to see, but 2 hits of scoreless over 6 innings is definitely something you want to see. This is going to be a very, very negative K matchup for Sonny Gray.
Yeah, I don't see
but here. It's going to be interesting to see him, man. I think this is a pitcher's tool. I think both these guys are going to get up. I think Gray is going to be extra hyped up. He's extremely well rested. He hasn't pitched in over a week. So we'll see, man. I think Sonny Gray with Kluber on the other side of him is a very intriguing tournament play.
What are your thoughts on Indians as a potential sneaky stack against Gray? I know, obviously, as a Yankees fan, you don't want to see that, but Indians at home versus righties, highest ISO, second highest home run for fly ball rate. They're notably a much better home team than away team overall.
Edwin Encarnacion is a guy, again, I'm looking at. Carlos Santana. I mean, you're picking one or the other, obviously. Santana's been the one that's hotter, but I outlined before yesterday's game that Encarnacion has the better batted ball data, 44% hard contact rate, 25% line drive rate. But you're paying up for this stack against Sonny Gray. So, again, it would be something that you would have to do with caution. I think Zimmer Encarnacion is a 2-man that I would go with.
Zimmer's been mad hot.
Yeah, I've been trying to buy him in my Dynasty League. I just offered Justin Smoke for him.
Damn. That's how high you think of him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in a Dynasty League, I don't think Justin Smoke's going to hit 45 home runs again next year,
That's true. He might peak.
Yeah. So I'm trying to sell high a little bit.
What are your thoughts on Michael Brantley's price dropping a little bit? He's down to 4K on DraftKings, 37 on FanDuel.
Again, I've always felt like he didn't really possess the OPS numbers for me. I think he fits stacks. Yeah, he's kind of empty average. I mean, he's going to score runs, get RBIs, get on base. It just, his home runs, I don't know, his slugging percentage is not what I want.
I'm with you. Alex Wood and Sean Newcomb.
Mm-hmm.
Thoughts on Dodgers versus Newcomb? Not been pitching great of late. They underperformed yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
You think you looked at?
I saw a stat, like over the last 50 days or something like that. Mm-hmm. The Dodgers are 40-3 against everyone else except for the Braves, which they're 3-3. Nuts. Newcomb, he's a lefty, so that is a plus for him against the Dodgers, in my opinion. I don't know that, obviously, team stats, Dodgers are going to be tops in the league no matter what.
Yeah.
But, you look at Seager and Bellinger, lefties in this park, I feel like would do a little bit better. And those are really the only two guys on the entire team that have an OPS over 5 or 600, really, in the last week. Everybody else would seemingly be looked at as cold if you look at their numbers over the last week.
I think some guys on the Dodgers you got to look at. 5, 6, 7 is a nice stack that's cheap on FanDuel. Logan Forsythe, 27. Austin Barnes, 24. And Kiki, 21. On DraftKings, absolutely not. They are 42, 46, and 29.
I like the Logan Forsythe call. I mentioned it yesterday. It didn't really work out, but I still like that call. And I do like the two-man with Barnes. I think he would be a catcher that's going to get overlooked there.
Yeah, and then Justin Turner. This guy was a reverse splits guy last year, and he has flipped that. He averages a home run every 10 at-bats versus lefty with a 5.35 WOBA, 430 average against. Something about third baseman and killing lefties, Rendon, Turner. But I like Turner, man. I think, especially on FanDuel, he's only 3,400.
I'm not really into a Dodgers stack. I did have Forsythe and Barnes written down, but yeah, I could get behind Turner. You're right. He is still too cheap in this ballpark.
And then Alex Wood, any concerns here? Over his last 14 days, so 3 starts, his swing and strike rate has gone down from 12% to 8%, with a strikeout rate of 22 to 16.
Who's this?
Alex Wood.
Yeah, he just had that really bad start. That was really it.
Well, he's had 2 bad ones. The last one was in LA, actually, versus Atlanta.
No, the last really bad start was he had one really bad start, in my opinion. The last one was the San Francisco game. He still went 7. Gave up 8 hits and 4 earned, so it was bad for his price. Obviously, you don't want 17 DraftKings points at 11K. But yeah, for how bad the Braves have been, I think this is a good play.
He's the highest priced pitcher on DraftKings today, higher than Kluber.
Yeah.
So you're paying for it.
No, you are. And I don't think I'm paying for either of those guys because I'm not going to pay up for pitching because of this recent trend. But if I had a pick, I think I'd still go Alex Wood over Corey Kluber. Interesting, but
I like the matchup better for Alex
Wood.
Yeah,
me too.
I agree with you. But yeah, I too will not have any pay up of pitching. As you guys know, I don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
So, Tampa versus Houston. Jeremy likes a potential. Blake Snell plays. Fastball velocity has been up. His walk rate has been down. His hard contact is way down. Houston versus lefties is still a thing. So there is concern there. I kind of like 1 through 4 here. I really, really like, if nothing else, the Altuve Bregman 2-man at the top. It's expensive. You're paying for it. But that might be my favorite 2-man of the day.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I really like it as well. Third base is going to be a tough call today. We've already talked about a number of really good plays at third base. So for that reason, I went off. I am going to place Houston. Currently I have Altuve and Gaddis, but I started with Bregman. And I just kind of like some other third base better. Just kind of depends on how many lineups you're building. I will have it if I was going to build 5, but I'm only building 3. But yeah, I hear what Jeremy was saying about Blake Snell. I watched that whole game in his last start against the Yankees, and he was pitching great. They just left him in for 1 batter too long, and he gave up that home run. And that was really it, man. Problem with him is he labors through games, man. His pitch count goes up so quickly. There's only been 1 occurrence all year where he's pitched into the 7th inning. So, we talk about benchmarks in DFS, 7 innings pitched, 7 or more strikeouts. I don't really see him meeting either of those benchmarks in this game. So
Well, that's his problem, right? Is the walks. And so, like last 30 days, his walk rate was 11%. Over his last 14, he's got it down to 6%. So that's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge for him. So let me ask you this: literally the exact same scenario. Oh no, it's not. This is 1-2 instead of 2-3. Altuve Bregman on DraftKings, of course. DraftKings pricing here. Altuve Bregman or Machado Scope. The difference between both those guys is $300 because Scope is $5,200.
And they're both the same price at third base.
Bregman and Machado are both $4,600.
You know, I think I lean Scope and Machado.
Yeah.
Just because I think Snell is the better pitcher between him and Boyd. That's it. And they're both in pretty good ballparks to hit, so that'd be my tiebreaker. But again, perfect pivot spot if you're playing multiple lineups.
Yeah. Man, dude, when I saw this lineup come out, really, really liked this top of the lineup thing here. So,
yeah.
I'm looking there. Damn it. Any love for Colin McHugh? Pitched really well his last start. Obviously, the first start was off the DL. Strikeouts were up last start. We know the Rays are strikeout happy, but they have gotten to Houston the first couple games of the series. I actually think, dare I say that Tampa wins this game again? Are they going for the sweep today?
Who, Tampa?
Yeah.
They might be, yeah. Actually, I think they are. That's interesting. We'll see how the Rays play it. Obviously, both these teams are still battling, for a playoff spot.
They're not. Tampa lost on Monday.
Oh, they are. But still, they are battling. Win. Yeah. Going for this, the win of the series, both these teams. What impressed me about Colin McHugh's last start was he struck out 7 Tigers. That's not an easy feat, especially for a righty. And I don't know. I thought it was impressive. He only pitched 82 pitches, so I could see him being limited a little bit. Maybe he's not going to throw 90 to 100. Generally speaking, Houston pitchers don't pitch into the 7th inning anyway. So there's that bit of a concern. But Tampa Bay, man, I think if you're looking at the best matchups on the slate for strikeouts, it's Tampa, right?
So let me ask you this. Talk about Tampa's bullpen. Bullpen's last 30 days. Tampa Bay, Astros, 51 earned runs, and 80 innings pitched. They are actually second to worst in the league. Their bullpen last 30 days.
Well, how many? I would venture to say that innings pitched is for the Astros in the course of this season is markedly higher than any other team.
Oh, probably so.
Which is crazy for a team that's as good as the Astros,
But they've been bad of late, so does that worry you at all? Because we talked.
They almost blew Colin McHugh's last start. Actually, he left the game scoreless inning, and then the only earned run that was, given to him was given up by the bullpen. If I'm thinking correctly.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is are they? Houston's bullpen is not the same bullpen we saw in the beginning of the year, so I don't know that. I don't know that I value it the same, like the safety of it.
Either way, I definitely think if we're talking about matchups, man, I think, obviously him and Porcello have the best strikeout matchups of the day.
Agree.
And then I think Mejia would probably be third with Texas.
See, that's my thing with Mejia is just the upside. I think he's good for 5 or 6 strikeouts, but...
I'm talking about matchup, Which teams? Texas,
strikes out
White Sox, Tampa Bay are the 3 teams that are striking out a ton.
Absolutely. Texas on the road is not the same team. That worries me a little bit. AJ Griffin makes his return today. In his 3 minor league starts or rehab starts, he struck out 15 batters in 13 innings with only 3 walks. That's encouraging. But he's a huge fly ball pitcher, and Minnesota is a better home team than a away team, and they are much better versus righties than they are versus lefties. Any love for attacking some AJ Griffin, especially Texas's bullpen, man?
Definitely.
Great.
Problem with it is Minnesota as a team has been playing poorly, and I don't see them going out and scoring more than 5 runs, even in a good matchup like this. It's been tough. I think it's interesting buy low opportunity for like the Dozier Sano 2-man stack, because they're both low 4. Whereas if you look at the third base options, Sano, if you look for what he's been doing recently, kind of falls out. But for price, he's very intriguing.
Yeah. Down to
So
4,100. Joe Mauer's 35. Rosario's 33.
definitely some intriguing buy low options here.
Max Kepler's only 31 on DraftKings. Wow.
Castro's actually been hitting the ball well.
Castro's a GPP play. 4 home runs and 19 at bats versus AJ Griffin.
Yeah, there you go. And he's pretty cheap as well. So if you're paying out for pitching, I think Minnesota is the way to go.
I'm with you. And then obviously I'm not going to stack any Texas versus Minnesota, especially not versus a lefty. As we know, a lot of their power comes from the left-hand side. I mean, Napoli still has got to get consideration.
I like the Shields and Andrews at the top if you want to go 1-2 there.
I could see not playing Mazzara, not playing Odor, not playing Gallo.
But yeah, I don't know. I think the Shields at 3,400 is a nice little punt play. So, yeah.
Seattle and Kansas City, we have Yovani Gallardo and Trevor Cahill. Trevor Cahill has been bad since he's moved over to Kansas City. Gallardo is just bad overall. 61% fly ball rate. That's not a good look, but it is in Kansas City, so he gets that benefit.
They can't keep Haniger on the field. I was looking at him. Nelson Cruz stays hot, but really he's the only guy that's. I think you can maybe create a 2-man with him and Segura. But either way, man, I don't like Seattle. Just as a team hasn't been showing me anything, and for that reason, I think Cahill's a little bit in play here. I'd be surprised if people would, like, maybe for his price, people will be on him because he is, I think, extremely underpriced on DraftKings. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. It's a play I could go back and forth on. But at the end of it all, I don't think I will have any of him.
Yeah, I don't intend to stack Seattle, not against Cahill. I don't find myself pitching Cahill, but he is only 6,200 on DraftKings. Talk about a buy low option there. But again, I don't think there's a lot of K upside here, and with how he's pitched, I don't really feel comfortable with that. So
I agree with the whole thing about the K upside. The Mariners have only struck out 18% of the time over the last week.
Yeah. But. So, and then Kansas City versus Gallardo. I don't like them at home. That's the problem. I think you can still look at their lefties, Moose, Hosmer. You're still paying for them. You can get Melky if you want, but I don't like Kansas City's home as much. Not a game I want to stack.
Kansas City is one of those teams that a week ago everyone was clicking, and this week everyone's not.
Yeah, how it changes.
So, yeah, I'm with you.
Philadelphia and LA. Parker Bridwell has been absolutely dominating his last couple starts. Any love for him today? He is priced up a little bit on DraftKings. He's 8,300. On FanDuel, let me get his price. He is, I believe he's not expensive. Parker Bridwell is, God damn it, only 7,700 on FanDuel. I like that.
Yeah, both these pitchers in this game, I think, have been performing above expectations over the past month, and for that reason, they are both overpriced, in my opinion. This, to me, as a whole, is a game fade. I'm not looking at either of these pitchers for these prices, and both these teams, hitting-wise, I know you could probably find some stats that the Phillies are hitting well. They've been scoring runs, but
they've been dropping, though. They were like a
if you trust the batted ball data, they have the worst hard contact rate as a team over the last week.
Yeah.
So I'm not buying it as of right now.
The Phillies were one of the top 5 hot teams in the league 3 days ago. Obviously, it's a 7-day sample, so that changes quickly. Now it's flipped. Now the Angels are a top 7 team. So I don't want to attack Eichhoff. They've owned Philadelphia pitching this series. But I do like Bridwell. I actually have him in my lineups today. So I will be throwing out some Bridwell. I like what he's been doing. And I think the Phillies, like you said, if you trust that batted ball data, they've been cooling down, and I think I'm gonna run with that.
4 straight quality starts from Bridwell. Problem, I guess, would be his K upside, but Phillies do strike out a ton, so I could see it. Yeah.
Yeah. So away versus righties is their worst split by far.
Cool.
In terms of ISO.
I'm with it, man.
No power. So I'm just going to trust the matchup, run with that, and hope it works out.
I like it.
And then finally we have Oakland and San Francisco. Ty Block and Kendall Graveman will make his return today. Thoughts on... if I can get this sheet to load. Thoughts on that?
Thoughts on Ty Block and Kendall Graveman? I don't know what Kendall Graveman's, if he's going to have restrictions or not. I couldn't find anything about it. Maybe we'll find out more.
No, I
yeah, me neither.
Either, so
maybe we'll find out more about that. I don't know. Kind of looking at this as a fade as well, man. Both these late games, to me, I don't have much exposure to or really anything to love about it. I looked at maybe Simeon Davis 2-man stack for the home run upside versus Block. But
yeah, I'm not going to... Kendall Graveman was having a career year by his standards before he got injured. So, and the Giants are that bad. I don't find myself stacking against them or stacking against Graveman in this park. I actually considered pitching Graveman. I just don't know that I want to run that out on his first start back from the DL.
Yeah.
Ty Block, maybe he does what Matt Moore was supposed to do today and shut down the A's, who, again, historically this season have been bad on the road versus lefties, but they defied all that yesterday just because Matt Moore is that bad. But again, there's not a lot of K upside in Block. He just doesn't strike anybody out.
Right, and he's only given up 3 home runs in 10 starts at home this season, so I don't think I want to stack against that with a team that has to hit home runs to win the game.
I think there is a safer floor here with Ty Block.
I can see it. 60, where is he at? 6,300 on DraftKings, so pick it off of Cahill.
Wouldn't pitch him on FanDuel. I don't think there's enough upside as your only pitcher, but do like him on DraftKings as an SV2 option potentially. So, all right. To recap, kind of where we're at, pitchers that I will be looking at. As I mentioned, Parker Bridwell. I'm looking at. I think if you have to pay up, which I won't be doing, I like Kluber and Wood. I think Kluber. I like Kluber's. I don't even know. Both are in bad spots in terms of parks and things like that. I'll say Wood has the safer matchup if there's a such thing. I think Sal Romano could be an interesting play today. I like Rick Porcello as a potential option, and Mejia probably has a safe floor.
My pitchers today are...
And Colin McHugh. I think McHugh could... He's a risky play, but...
Yeah, my pitchers today are... I'll just go by price. Sonny Gray, Parker Bridwell, Colin McHugh, Adalberto Mejia, and... I'll just stick with that, man. I don't want to force anybody else.
And then stacks I'm looking at, obviously Boston against Miguel Gonzalez. I don't care if they're chalk. I'm looking at a Baltimore and Detroit game stack. I'm looking at a possible red stack. And I think a sneaky stack is going to be Minnesota versus Griffin.
Yep, I'm with you, man. I have Cincinnati, Houston, Texas, Minnesota right now.
Okay.
Boston.
I like that.
I've been on and off of this game stack in Baltimore all day. Currently, I only have one lineup with some Baltimore. I had more, but I've been toying with my pitchers because I can't decide today who I want to pitch. It's tough, man. I also looks like on this slate, like a full stacks. I don't know that I'm going to be going there. I don't know. There's just a lot of pitchers to attack. I feel like today, and not a lot to pitch. So I feel like on that slate, I'll have a lot more 2-man, 3-mans than I will like full 4-5s today.
Got you. Not a bad strategy. So. All right, if you guys are in River, I'm going to go do a write-up on the plays I like and why, so make sure to check that out, and then I'll do those as I can. Obviously, I can't promise them every day, but I'll try and do them around this time after the lock show, for those of you not able to always watch the show. So check that out, and then as always, we'll be back later tonight, breaking down... what's up?
Tomorrow, yeah. I was going to say, for those who are watching, this is our lock show, you know. I don't know. Did you make this one public?
Yeah, it is.
For all to see?
Yeah, because we couldn't do a show this morning.
Yeah, so we don't make these public. We do these every day right around this time. So for members only, obviously a little bit of a different vibe where you get more in-depth analysis on, you know, we talked about weather. We didn't really talk much about Vegas today, but we normally do. And then just like in-depth analysis on the which bats to play, which are good stacks because lineups come in. So for those of you that are members, you know, definitely tune into this. And for those of you that aren't, this is something we do every day.
Yes, sir. So, all right, guys, we'll make it a profitable Thursday. We'll be back later, and we'll break down tomorrow's slate.